She looked me dead in the eye and said, "This is my seat now, you can stand." I had been sitting in it for 2 hours. My bag was in the overhead rack, my coffee was in the cup holder, and she wanted me to stand. Back up, I'm a regular person. I take the intercity train for work about twice a month, long ride, like 3.5 hours. I always book a window seat in advance because I get motion sick if I'm not facing forward, and I need something to stare at that isn't the back of a headrest. So I'm settled in by stop one. I've got my coffee, my earbuds in, my laptop open. Everything is fine. We hit the second major stop, about 2 hours in, and the train fills up a lot more. A woman, I'd say mid-50s, gets on and stops right next to my row. She's got a big rolling bag, a tote, a coat over her arm. She looks at me, looks at my seat, and just starts hoisting her bag into the overhead rack like she's about to sit down. I pull one earbud out. I say politely, "Oh, hey, I'm in that seat." And she goes, "Not anymore." I figured she was confused. Honestly, that's always my first move, assume confusion, not malice. So I said, "I think there might be a mix-up. I booked this seat. Number 34A, my ticket is on my phone." I held it up. She glanced at it barely and said, "I don't care what your phone says. I have a bad back and I need a window seat." Okay, I took a breath. I said, "I'm really sorry about your back. I genuinely am. But I also booked this seat and I've been sitting here since the first stop." And she goes, "Well, you're young. You can sit somewhere else. There are other seats." I looked down the car. There were seats, middle seats, aisle seats, seats facing backward. Not great options for me, but fine. I said, "If there are other seats, why don't you take one of those?" She pulled her coat tighter and said, "Because I want this one." No, seriously, that's it. That's the whole argument. She wanted it. Beat one, done. I tried to stay reasonable. I said, "Look, I'll grab a conductor and we can sort this out properly." She waved her hand at me, waved like I was a fly, and said, "Don't bother them with your nonsense, just move." Then she actually sat down on the armrest. She sat on the armrest of my seat while I was still in it and said, "I'm not moving, so you might as well get up. I want you to really sit with that." She perched on my armrest while I was in the seat and told me to get up. I stood up not because I was giving in, but because I needed space to breathe and think and not absolutely lose my mind, and I said very calmly, "You realize I'm going to get the conductor now, right?" She shrugged and slid right into my seat, pulled my coffee out of the cup holder, and set it on the tray of the seat across the aisle. My coffee. She relocated my coffee. The conductor came, young guy, calm, professional. He looked at my ticket on my phone, looked at hers, which, by the way, was for a completely different car, 2 coaches back, and he said to her very politely, "Ma'am, you're in the wrong car. Your seat is 34A in coach 7. This is coach 5." And she lost it, not quietly. She goes, "I am sitting here. This girl was fine until you came over and stirred the pot." The conductor said, "Ma'am, she called me over." Woman goes, "She's young, she's healthy, and she's being incredibly selfish. I have a medical condition." Half the car is watching now. I hear someone behind me go, "Wow." I kept my voice level, I did, but I leaned in just slightly and I said, "You moved my coffee. You sat on my armrest while I was still in the seat and told me to stand for the rest of a 3-hour ride because you wanted a window. And I'm the selfish one?" She pointed at me and said, "You should be ashamed of yourself." And I said, "And okay, maybe this is where people will say I went too far." I said, "I'll let the whole car decide." And I looked around, slowly, at everyone watching because they'd all heard it. The conductor didn't hesitate. He said, loud enough for the whole row to hear, "Ma'am, I need you to collect your belongings and move to your assigned seat now, or I'll need to contact the next station about a disruption." Someone 2 rows back actually started slow clapping. Quietly but still. The woman stood up, red-faced, stiff, grabbed her coat, her tote, and her rolling bag, and she said to me, "I feel sorry for you." And I just picked up my coffee from across the aisle, sat back down in my seat and put my earbud back in. The conductor made eye contact with me, gave a small nod, and moved on. A woman across from me mouthed, "Good for you." I don't know, maybe I shouldn't have done the let the whole car decide thing. Maybe that was a step too far, making her perform her embarrassment in front of everyone. She was gone 2 seconds later either way. But I also think about her moving my coffee like I was already gone, like I was nobody. So, honestly, was I too harsh? Comment below.